If you got to this point where you feel burnt out, where you've reached a point where you feel like you've got nothing left, you've given it your all and you're just completely drained and unmotivated, first of all, I just want you to congratulate yourself. These days, you're going to see a lot of people kind of telling you to take it easy and not push yourself too much. Remind yourself there's reasons why you decided to try chase your dreams so hard. It's okay to feel burnt out. In fact, it's usually a good sign that you're on the right track. Being burnt out isn't some mysterious thing that you can't fix. More time, you're probably burnt out because okay guys, welcome back to another episode of Emotivation. You guys were feeling the previous content I've been putting out a bit, so I thought I might make a couple more videos along the same kind of vibe, I guess. And yeah, so I'm just going to get straight to the point today. I'm going to be talking about something that I've been experiencing recently, and that's something we call burnout. Oh yeah, before I forget, make sure to subscribe to this channel, make sure to give this video a like and a comment, make sure to let us know your opinions on the topics I'm discussing. Make sure to share any kind of advice that you guys think might help other people going through the same kind of things. And if you can relate to any of this stuff, make sure to let us know in the comments. But moving on, I'm just going to get right to it. Recently, I've been struggling with motivation to keep this content creation journey going. Like, I feel like recently it's been one of the hardest weeks in my journey. I just kind of wanted to give up. Like, I've just been struggling. I've been lacking with gym. I haven't been waking up on time. I've just been struggling to stick to all the good habits that I know I need to stick to in order to get closer and closer to chasing my goals and making my dreams become a reality. And it got to a point where I just felt like I needed some kind of help in getting through this rut that I found myself in. And I think this is something that I do quite a lot. Like when I'm struggling with something, whether that's how to stay motivated or how to stay on track or how to get out of a rut, I always find myself going on like YouTube or Google and just typing in the questions that I feel like can give me the answers to my situation. When it comes to this thing of being burnt out, there's a lot of different kinds of videos out there on the internet, giving all different kinds of advice to try help you deal with being burnt out. But recently when I was looking through, for example, when I was looking through YouTube to try to find a video to get me pumped up again, I wasn't really liking the answers that I was given. I wasn't really liking the type of videos that were showing up on my feed. So I realized, you know what, I'm just going to put out my own answer to dealing with this issue of being burnt out. And hopefully this is going to help someone else who's gone through this. I think if you're trying to chase your dreams and maintain a 9-to-5 job whilst you're doing that, and if you watch my previous video, which I'm probably going to link somewhere or it's going to be in the description below, you already know that most likely you're going to be juggling your 9-to-5 job whilst trying to chase your dreams or grow that business or chase your goals. So realistically, you're going to experience burnout at some point or another. So it's important that you kind of have the right mindset to deal with when you feel burnt out. Okay, so the first thing that I really want to highlight with this topic is if you got to this point where you feel burnt out, where you've reached a point where you feel like you've got nothing left, you've given it your all and you're just completely drained and unmotivated. First of all, I just want you to congratulate yourself. Like, well done. If you're burnt out, it means you're actually working extremely hard and not enough people give themselves enough credit for getting to this point. If you're feeling burnt out, it means that you're not being lazy. You're actually trying really hard to do something to the point that it's taking a toll on your body. Now, maybe you're working a bit too hard. Maybe you're not getting enough balance, and we'll get onto that later. But first of all, just acknowledge the fact that you've reached a point where, you know, your body's kind of saying like, this is a lot of work that we're putting in. I feel like in this generation, like, because all these videos on hustle culture have got to a point where there's a lot of extreme advice being put out there, people telling you to sacrifice sleep and stuff, which is just clearly a major health risk that you don't want to build a bad habit of doing. A lot of people demonize hustle culture now, think, you know, it's it's kind of dangerous to work too hard, or not even dangerous. Like, I feel like people kind of want to tiptoe around working hard. And I feel like these days you're going to see a lot of people kind of telling you to take it easy and not push yourself too much. And there's kind of, they're coming from a good place, people who advise you to do that. But at the same time, it's important to not go too far on that side of things and not be working hard. So yeah, the main thing that I kind of just want to get across with this part of the video is that you need to stop beating yourself up for actually working hard. Like, yeah, feeling burnt out isn't great. It's not a nice feeling. It makes you feel like, you know, you're going down the wrong path in life because you're not feeling good. But one thing to keep in mind is that, especially when you're trying to chase your goals and chase your dreams, you're not always going to feel good. And it's okay. In fact, it's even really important for you to get used to feelings of discomfort. If you're always seeking comfort, you're not gonna do the hard but necessary things that it takes for you to do in order to make changes in your life. Do you know what I mean? And that's gonna be something you're gonna have to deal with quite a lot when you're trying to chase your dreams. You're trying to have a life that isn't conventional. You're trying to have a life that isn't the typical life that most people have. And to do that, you're gonna have to do things different. You're gonna have to do different things. And when you're doing different things, it's gonna be hard because most people, the reason why it's different and why most people don't do it is because it's not easy. So yeah, the main thing is just try not to beat yourself up for getting to a point where you've burnt out. Just focus on how you're going to deal with the intense feelings you're having in that moment. Another thing I think it's important to touch on with this topic of being burnt out is remembering this is what you signed up for. I feel like when you hit that point where you're feeling burnt out and you're just so drained and unmotivated and you feel like you don't want to do this anymore, you don't want to stay on this path of chasing your dreams or chasing your goals, because those feelings are so intense, they kind of make you forget why you're doing this. They kind of make you forget why you started doing this in the first place. And it's at that moment that's more important than ever to remind yourself there's reasons why you decided to try chase your dreams so hard. And for me, what this looked like was reminding myself that I didn't like the times in my life where I wasn't working that hard towards my dreams or towards chasing my goals. Like, for me, there was points at uni where, you know, I was doing the complete opposite of what I'm doing now. Most of the time I wasn't feeling burnt out because I wasn't trying that hard in life. I was mainly just trying to enjoy my life, if I'm being honest. And that's not a bad thing. It's okay to enjoy your life. I also think there's different seasons in life. There's a time and place for everything, really. So the way I see it is like uni was a time where I kind of mainly focused on prioritizing my enjoyment, you know, socializing, partying, going out, having fun. And I'm glad I did that. But I also know that there were points where I felt just as bad, if not worse, during those times, because deep down I knew I had all these ambitions, all these dreams that I wasn't giving my all into pursuing. And that haunted me all the time. Like, I think it's just important to know that, yeah, you might be not having as much fun as you can be having in life because you're working so hard, trying to make your dreams come true, trying to grow that business, trying to chase your goals with like content creation or entrepreneurship, whatever it is. And you're probably reminiscing on all the fun times, all the times where you were just living soft life. You were just living in the moment and, you know, having as much short-term gratification as you can. But if you're anything like me, and I think a lot of the people I'm trying to make these videos for can relate to this, it just always gets to that point where that's not enough for you. That's just not fulfilling for you. And no matter how fun, you know, taking it easy in life and living a life of comfort and enjoyment and avoiding really hard, frustrating things that you know deep down you should be doing, no matter how fun that can be, it always gets to a point where you kind of just feel terrible continuing like that. That's most likely why you got to a point where you're feeling burnt out, because those feelings of feeling like you're not pushing yourself and you're not working as hard as you can be working, it probably got you feeling depressed sometimes. It probably had you feeling just as bad as you might be feeling now if you're watching this video, or even worse. I know me personally, there was times where I'd honestly just in a weird way, kind of hate myself when I'd come back from like a motive or something. Maybe it was the third motive I went in a row that same week. And I know that I hadn't made any progress towards these dreams that I said I was going to be chasing for years now. And I know for me, that's something that constantly, at this point in my life where I'm getting to points where I feel burnt out, I know it's those feelings of like, I don't want to be selling myself short. I don't want to be not giving it everything I can to make my dreams a reality. That fear of not doing your best, that was what I was trying to avoid. That was making me push myself so hard. And I think it's important to remember that, because I'm sure even though you're probably feeling quite burnt out right now, you can probably look back and see a lot of progress you've made towards your goals. And now's not the time to beat yourself up. Now's the time to acknowledge all the success that your hard work has given you, all the progress, all the results you're making because you are working so hard. And if you can actually relate to what I'm talking about here, then I want you to ask yourself, like, what would you prefer? Would you rather go back to that point in life where, you know, deep down, there's all these things you want to be doing, all these ambitions you have that you know you should be working on, but that because you're trying to avoid working too hard, overwhelming yourself with difficult tasks, you kind of just settle and just go through the motions and do the bare minimum or a bit above the bare minimum? Or would you rather be at this point where, like, yeah, maybe you pushed it a bit too far and because of that you're a bit drained, a bit tired, like very low energy, but as a result of going to those extreme lengths, you have accomplished so much you really wanted yourself to accomplish. So many of the things that used to beat yourself up for not doing. I know where I'd rather be. I'll be honest, I'd rather feel burnt out and know that I'm getting closer and closer to my dreams coming true and achieving my goals. I'd rather that than feel comfortable but nowhere near closer to doing something that I would find generally fulfilling in life. The last thing I want to quickly touch on with this topic of being burnt out is how to sort of, I guess, avoid getting to that point where you burn out in the future. I do think, like, I'll be honest, I don't think you can completely avoid getting burnt out. It's inevitable, especially if you're trying to make sure that you're giving your dreams, your goals, everything you can. There's going to be times where you just get burnt out. You can't avoid it completely. But I think one of the things that you can bear in mind to kind of minimize the amount of times you experience burnout or kind of help you recover from burnout quickly is to just realize being burnt out isn't some mysterious thing that you can't fix. More time, you're probably burnt out because you're not having the right balance in life. And what I mean by that is, like, the way I break down my life is like, it's kind of like this idea of working hard versus playing hard. I think to avoid burning out, but also avoid being in that position where you kind of just feel bad about yourself because you're not working as hard as you need to be, is you need to get the right balance and you need to manage your time wisely. So it's important to make time for working towards your goals and progressing towards your dreams and whatever. But as you're doing that, just try and make sure that you're making time for fun, normal human things as well. Just try and make sure you're making time for fun as well, essentially. And what I mean by that is, like, maybe the way you go about your days, you have a to-do list throughout the day of things that you need to complete, as well as, you know, putting down things that are gonna work towards you fulfilling your dreams or chasing your goals. Make sure that you're putting things in your to-do list that are just for the sake of enjoyment. Make sure that you're making time to socialize. Make sure that you're making time to do your hobbies, do your passions, do your interests. I mean passions outside of your dreams that aren't necessarily career focused, but things that you just want to do for the sake of having fun. It's important to make time for these things. And a lot of the times you're feeling burnt out is because all you've done is work towards your dreams or your goals, and you literally haven't made time for other important aspects of life, such as socializing and having fun. Now, I'm not saying, like, you need to prioritize those things. I'm not even saying it has to be a 50-50 balance, but you need to get the right balance for yourself. You need to make sure that you're probably somewhere deep down, you're going to know what kind of balance would work for you. You're gonna know how much you feel like you need to socialize versus how much you feel like you need to be working towards your goals. And I feel like as long as you make sure that you're doing your best to get enough time for the other important things in terms of your well-being, such as socializing and having fun, as long as you're making time for those things as well as progressing with your business or progressing with content creation or whatever your goals are in this creative journey, as long as you're making time for both, that's going to give you the best chances of avoiding burnout. I feel like to finish this video off, the main thing I just want to emphasize again is that it's okay to feel burnt out. In fact, it's usually a good sign that you're on the right track towards making your dreams come true, whatever that may be. It's okay to feel burnt out. You don't need to beat yourself up about it. You just need to quickly acknowledge that what you're feeling is burnout, and you need to probably just have a better balance with the way you're approaching life. I think a key thing to just remember at all times if you come across burnout is that this is probably better than how your life was before. Do you know what I mean? If you've had points where you felt like you weren't working hard enough and you just felt like shit because you know you could be doing more, remember those times and use that to motivate you to just keep pursuing the path you're going down now. It may come with burnout every now and then, but I think it's better to experience those moments every now and then, quickly recover from them, and still be making progress towards your dreams actually becoming a reality and you actually accomplishing all your goals. It's better that than to be so afraid of experiencing burnout that you just stop pushing yourself and you stop working as hard as you can and stop giving your goals and your dreams everything you've got. Like, you've actually only got one life, and a lot of people, you know, like to say, like, you only got one life, like, live it to the fullest. A lot of people say that in a way of just have as much enjoyment as you can. But I think it's also important to make sure that with this one life you've got, you made sure that when it came to making your dreams come true, you gave that your all as well. So yeah, that's one thing I want you to just think about when you're feeling burnt out. Yeah, let me not waffle too much. I think that's all I need to say for this video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. Make sure to comment your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. And make sure to subscribe if you're feeling this kind of content and you want to see more. But yeah, that's it from me for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. In a bit.